Good evening. It is always a pleasure to be back in Rochester. Every time I'm here, I'm amazed at just how special this community is. I mean, look around the room. There are so many local businesses, activists, community leaders, and an incredible number of allies who come out and support us every single year. I'm especially proud that the Spring Dinner is upstate New York's largest LGBT fundraiser and that this is our 15-year anniversary. During a press interview recently, I was asked how the Pride agenda became so involved in the Rochester community. And the truth is, I don't think that we necessarily chose Rochester. I think Rochester and the Pride agenda just made sense. You continue to lead on LGBT rights for all of New York State. So tonight is our annual celebration of all that you do throughout the year. And believe me, I wish every corner of the state knew how to throw a party like this. So Rochester, your commitment makes a guy wonder, what makes Western New York so unique? Why do so many other parts of the state lag behind when it comes to fundamental protections for LGBT people? Why are you so friendly and welcoming? My first thought was that it probably had something to do with Wegmans. I mean, in my experience, even a quick trip to Wegmans can really brighten your day. But no, there's something much more powerful behind what I feel every time that I'm here. The more people I meet, the more friends that I make, the more clear it becomes Rochester is so committed and progressive because of the people. People like Evelyn Bailey, who we are thrilled to honor tonight for her efforts to document the history of the local LGBT community so that future generations can fully appreciate all the victories that brought us to where we are today. People like Terry and Vince Cook, who learned a few years ago that they had a transgender son who was having a very difficult time with his transition. After learning their son had attempted suicide, Terry and Vince both quit their jobs and committed themselves to their son's health 150%. Now, years later, their son is healthy, is in college, and is working 2 jobs. Terry and Vince wrote a book about their family's journey, and they travel the country sharing their experience of spreading love and acceptance. Recently, as Norm mentioned, Terry joined the Pride Agenda's board. And just a few weeks ago, I had the privilege of accompanying Terry on a number of legislative visits in Albany during our Equality and Justice Day, where she shared her family's very personal story to lobby for agenda, our top legislative priority. She literally helped open doors, hearts, and minds about the dire need for agenda to provide fundamental protections for transgender New Yorkers statewide. You're going to hear from Terry later tonight, and I am sure that you agree we are all very lucky to have her be a part of our journey. People like Curran and Corbin Street, who have been very outspoken about their experience with a second parent adoption. Curran, the mother, had to undergo invasive background checks, fingerprints, and social worker visits to her home, all while pregnant with her own child. Corbin, because he was the non-biological father, endured 45 days of legal limbo, during which time the anonymous sperm donor had more legal authority to the child than Corbin, who had been married to and living with his wife for years. Corbin said those were the most anguishing 45 days of his life. All of this is because New York law on family creation is so completely out of date. In addition, no couple, gay or straight, can work with a surrogate to create their families. It is for these reasons, and with your help, that we will pass the Child Parent Security Act that will legalize surrogacy, modernize second parent adoption, and serve as model legislation for the country. Telling the stories of LGBT New Yorkers is the essence of what we do at the Pride Agenda. Just this week, we participated in a forum about ending so-called gay conversion therapy, and one story really stuck with me. A young man named Matthew shared his 5 years of experience with various conversion therapists that, not surprisingly, caused more harm than good. He was forced to limit interactions with any women, including his mother and sisters. Also, not surprisingly, he began to experience severe depression, anxiety. He dropped out of school, and he thought about suicide often. Thankfully, Matt has come a really long way and is now an outspoken survivor of this very dangerous practice. But what was particularly moving about the encounter this week is that both Matthew and his mother testified in support of a bill that will expressly prohibit this practice of exposing LGBT minors to conversion therapy in New York State. It is stories like these that help us move the needle forward, and it only travels in one direction, and that is towards equality and justice. Of course, we are incredibly thankful to the leadership of Councilmember Matt Haig and Mayor Lovely Warren, and we are so thrilled that they chose the spring dinner stage to share this amazing announcement. Let's have another round of applause for them. And of course, the first non-New York City openly gay member of the state legislature. Where's Harry Bronson? Harry, who just this week introduced a bill that will protect the confidentiality of transgender New Yorkers. So Harry, thank you so much for your leadership. It is people like you that make our state very proud. You know, New York is only as good as the people who live and breathe and work each day to maintain the great reputation of our Empire State. So thank you, Rochester, for setting the bar high, for electing pro-LGBT officials to serve here and in Albany, to consistently providing so many inspiring messengers to tell our story, for our fight for equality and justice, and for throwing a damn good party 15 years in a row. So please enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you again so much.